Hey guys, today I'm going to be filming two videos. Both are going to be parts of a new series that I'm going to be calling Wolfexia Talks. Basically, these are videos for people my age, younger, maybe even a little older, who are going through some crap times. Um, the first episode, fittingly, is going to be about the end. Breaking up, and other places where you have to say goodbye to somebody. Um, well, I had a friend who died last year. Well, earlier this year. Um, and I have to say, out of all of the things that I've faced, I've had quite a few nasty experiences, even quite a few losses in my family. Like, quite a few cousins, grandparents, uncles, aunts who have died. That killed me. Um, this girl was a really close friend of mine. The only connection I still had with her was through Xbox Live, and my live account. I think I've talked about this before. It's sketchy at best. Like, I don't have gold all the time, and my mic had gone out, so I couldn't talk to anybody on gold. And so I didn't talk to her for about a month before it happened. And yeah, it took me a while to realize that she was actually gone. Like, I a few times I actually thought, I wonder why Stephanie, yeah, let's just use her name because I guess I wonder why Stephanie hasn't been on at all recently. So yeah, that was really terrible because it was hard to lose her. She was a good friend of mine, and she, yeah, like, it's another thing that goes through your mind when a teenager, especially, like when you're 96 and your friends start to die. You're kind of thinking, well, 96, I'm kind of nearing the end of my road. Two, we're all older, we're all, a lot more frail. um, when you're 17, you're supposed to have a whole life ahead of you still, and having somebody near to you die, somebody your age. Because I've had aunts, I've had uncles, I've had grandparents. Sure, those were sad times. This was so much more on every level. Um, this was terrible for me. And I'm not going to lie, I may end up in tears talking about this. There were 3 days in there. There was like a month or so this year where I didn't produce any content. And that was because I was grieving. That was because I was utterly torn apart. The night I found out, I cried myself to sleep. I really did. Like, I was crying until the moment I fell asleep. Then the next morning, it was a school night, so I had to go to school. My geometry teacher let me out of geometry. She sent me out into the hall with my laptop. She said, "Write a note." I wrote a 3-page letter to Stephanie, telling her that I'll miss her. And actually, I'm finding the need to pull that back up. Uh, yeah. This letter is mine alone. I would read an excerpt from it, but yeah, she really was the yeah the something that I'm gonna unleash a little on my nerd here, and I unleashed this part of my nerd in the video, in the letter that I wrote to her, because we shared Gundam. We were both big Gundam fans. A quote from Gundam Seed Destiny. In, I believe it was either the final episode or the second to final episode, when Shin is in the Destiny, or no, it's after the Destiny gets destroyed. Uh, he is unconscious, and I don't know if he's in Lunamaria's arms the whole time, but he wakes up in Lunamaria's arms. And what happens is he's having a vision or a dream, and what's happening is he's floating in space, and Stella, who was his love interest for the first half of the series. Luna Maria kind of became his love interest. However, he still loves Stella. He still won't let go of Stella. In fact, getting off on a little tangent here, Stella is the reason that he basically owns Kira, who for the first 2 seasons has been almost unbeatable. I mean, he's gotten damaged, he's gotten taken down slightly, but he always came back like, "Bwah!" And his mobile suit was never destroyed. Atherin's was destroyed, I think twice actually. No, the Aegis was destroyed. The Savior was destroyed. The what was it called? The Justice, I believe, was destroyed as well. Shin's Impulse was almost destroyed like 10 times. He lost so many leg and head. The reason the Impulse is harder to destroy is because the leg flyer is separate and the Minerva has quite a few in stock on board, as shown in the battle where the Impulse kicks the Freedom's butt. Kira does disable a head flyer, but then Shin breaks up and gets a new head flyer, which is, and actually, like, he does a few things where he splits the head flyer off and stuff, and basically plays off of Kira's sensibilities where he won't strike for the cockpit. That's one of his things. He won't shoot you in the cockpit because he will make your goof explode, but that's only because he shot the power supply and it was the power supply's fault. Um, it's he won't shoot you directly. So he played it really strategically and brilliantly, using the force impulse in the sword silhouette and basically ripping the Freedom to shreds with it. And that was because he was pissed off at Kira for killing Stella. That's what that'll do to you. I remember one time, my friend was talking about, like, I had another breakdown that involved Stephanie recently. A friend of mine sort of got a little peeved at me for following some friends of his on DeviantArt and commenting on a lot of their stuff, and he thought I was stalking his friends. Uh, what I was doing was the whole thing. One of my biggest memories of Stephanie is when my art was terrible. I couldn't draw to save my life, but I really wanted to be an artist. I really wanted to do it. She gave me the boost that I needed to continue pursuing it, to continue to read books on it and try to become better. And I'm where I am today because of her. And I know my drawings aren't perfect still. They could still be a lot better, but they're they're sub they're sub crappy. They're not crappy. They're uh, sub crappy. That means they're really crappy. They're super crappy. God, that's bad too. They're above crappy. Let's go with that. They're not as crappy as they were. But anyway, I digress from this big tangent and the Gundam Seed. Sorry about that. um, yeah. So anyway, the quote that I was getting at is Stella appears to 9-minute tangent. I almost feel like refilming, but I've refilmed 3 times, so no. The quote that I'm getting at is Stella says to Shin when she appears to him in this vision. She says, I will be to. He says, will. You've just. She says, I came here for a minute to see you. And he says, just a minute? And she says, and I'll see you tomorrow. He says, tomorrow? Tomorrow? Like, what? She says, yes, tomorrow, because you gave me yesterday. Meaning that because he was there to protect her, he tried to protect her. She flipped out, went crazy, and tried to fire her beam cannon on a city again, and that's why Kira broke it and blew up her mech. Um, because of that, she Shin was there for her. Shin brought her back to Neo. Shin did all this stuff for her. He saved her twice. Uh, because of that, she says that she'll see him again. That's something that I think you kind of have to say when you lose a big influence. You gave me yesterday. I'll see you tomorrow. Uh, you got to keep their memory alive, but don't mourn all the time, because I know they wouldn't want you to. If a person wants their friends and family to mourn endlessly for them, that's not a person worth uh, being friends and family with. Um, so anyway, the moral, I guess, of this is don't mourn deaths of people. And yeah. So now on to the less grave topic, breakups. Now, I just went through a breakup this week. Actually, last week, but this week. Kill Death Murderface and I are no longer together. We're on and off because we like each other. We do. Because we're so similar. We're so, you know, basically made for each other. But we're best friends. We've been best friends since we were like 3 years old. And we keep seeming to forget that and keep trying to become more than friends. We both want to stay friends. We both want that friendship thing to last. So that's why we keep breaking up. We keep getting together and breaking up. But yeah. So I have no like I'm not sad that we broke up. In fact, tomorrow I'll talk about this part of it. Tomorrow I'm actually going off on a plan to invite a girl to prom. I'll talk about that in the prom thing. The prom one, that's going to be the next one. I'm probably going to film it and maybe post it today because, unlike other YouTubers, my iMovie can't record crap anymore. And this is actually better quality footage. Sorry. Uh, what my iMovie won't upload to YouTube. I got to use this thing because I can't do it. But anyway, the thing is, when you break up with somebody, it gets you. I have had those breakups. I've dealt with rejection where actually the person was I was at prom with a person and we've settled this. We're both cool about it. She knows I'm cool about it. Actually, I contacted her prior to this, prior to talking about it, because I wanted to know that she was okay with me talking about it on the internet. What happened was at prom, she sort of told me later that the way she said it, she was unhappy with it as well. She wanted to say it in a different way. But she basically said, "We're not going to click. You and I will never click." And that tore me up because I had had a crush on this girl since I met her. And yeah, we were best friends and stuff. And I still kind of like her. I still think about her occasionally. Not all the time. Like she's not the apple of my eye anymore, but it's sort of like the Breaking Benjamin song. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's actually I know there's a line in a Breaking Benjamin song that's the apple of your eye, the rotten core inside. And that is kind of some breakups, that's what it is. It's not always your fault. I mean, even if they say, "Oh, it's your obsession with comic books and stuff that drove me away." It's not. It may not be. They just found somebody who has a shinier car or Frank bigger dick. Um, some girls will go after somebody just because of that. Don't date those girls. If you know that's why they're after you, don't do it. They'll find somebody who's bigger and they'll leave you. Those are what's known as sluts. And most often, if you date those girls, you will end up never being able to somebody again because you'll have STDs. Yeah. Okay, back to PG related topics. Okay. Yeah, breaking up. I know, like, dramas and crap, like Degrassi or whatever, however the hell you pronounce it. They say, "Oh God, breakups are terrible." Ugh. They're not terrible if you don't make them. I've had breakups. I've had rejection. I just told you that story. You know what I do? You guys may think, "Oh God, this guy's gonna grow up to be a serial killer." No, I go to my I go to the kendo club that I'm a part of. I go there. I spend a few hours practicing my sword arts, which, by the way, is not cutting things up and slashing with the sword. It's actually stances and, like, you know, if you've seen somebody do Tai Chi, it's like that, but with a sword, and it's actually like the way you'd move in combat, but you slow it down, and you basically, it's relaxing. It really is. I promise you that. But I basically have not I basically have not had a breakup that's that bad. That's as bad as in TV shows. They never are. You can get over it if you just try. Go go to your place. Go to your If you're a gamer, go play games for a day or so. Just get into your comfort zone and sort of wallow in your comfort zone. Talk to friends, talk to enemies. Have fun. Just, have a day without that person. Don't think about that person. Try not to. I know they may come up in your mind. But when they do, just say, screw it. Look at how much fun I'm having now. And where are they? Oh yeah, nowhere. Off my map. Honestly, the best way to deal with rejection is not as, like, shows like Jersey Shore and Degrassi and crap, like overly dramatic shows that basically portray Secret Life of the American Teenager. That's another one. I don't know the plots of these shows, so if I'm misjudging them, I'm sorry. But by the commercials, they seem like this is all that they are. Basically, they say that when you suffer a breakup, the best thing to do is go off, find somebody else, get with them, and basically get revenge on the other person. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. that does not end up hurting the other person. Because they're like, bitch, I rejected you. I don't give a crap who else you date. If somebody else is willing to take you, then go for it. That's not going to hurt them. You're going to end up making a total fool of yourself is what's going to end up happening. Um, you're I have never done this. I've seen people who have. And the girl that did this ended up looking like the single biggest slut in school. I knew she wasn't. She was actually a close friend of mine, but everybody else thought she was because she did this. And she was influenced by TV. She said, "Oh, this is the way everybody does it on TV." And I'm like, not working. And I know I seem like I'm trying to be an authority on this, but I'm just relaying past experiences. I've been to 2 different high schools and a terrible grammar school. So I've got stories. So yeah, I've got some experiences with this stuff. Not to mention, I'm kind of a fat ass. Um, and I'm a geek, and I'm very open about it. I, if I wasn't at this school that's so small that basically the it's so small, there's no hiding from anybody for 10 minutes. Um, I remember there was a laptop. We had Macs. There was a laptop that was missing. We basically said, nobody here has it. You would have found it by now. You know what happened to it? One of the teachers took it with them to a business meeting, which they were legitimately able to do. They had asked about it. It had slipped the people that they asked about its mind. They knew that person had a computer. They just didn't know that they took one of the cart computers. They thought they took one of the teacher school computers. Because they actually have 20 computers at the school, but 15 are aluminums, and 15 are just normal Macs. So, you can guess which 15 the kids get to use. Yeah, thanks a lot, teachers. But anyway, so, yeah. So, breakups, they're tough. Don't deal with them the way you see on TV. And they're not that tough. Next episode, I'll do prom. Then I'll do the opposite of this, how to find somebody. Okay, so this has been Galactic Marine 501 / Jackson Wolfexia, and I know my hair looks like Justin Bieber. If I want to grow it out longer, I need to go through this phase. And I would sort of like try to put it back or comb it over to the sides, like so. See how stupid that looks, though. It will look a lot better when I can part it behind my ears. Yeah, if you've seen TJ Omega, the Transformers reviewer, the maker of Plastic Addict, yeah, I definitely recommend checking that guy out. TJ Omega is freaking amazing. It's TJOMEGA. Type that into the box. Search him. He's freaking awesome. He was actually the reasoning behind my top 10 Transformers review. Oh yeah, and by the way, for those of you who are just sitting through these because of nothing. God. After this, I'm gonna do the biggest review I've ever done. Yeah, this is the Transformers 1. I think it was like something class Super Bumblebee with lights and sounds and moving parts and stuff. Yeah, this is an amazing brick. This really is the best brick Transformers has ever made. And I am going to review it for you guys. And just as a little spoiler, just to prove how amazing this brick is, Look at this. The doors open. They open the way they're supposed to, too. They're on a similar mechanism to the real one. And from the top, even, if you get it just the right angle, that looks pretty darn good. Those doors open accurately to the actual car. From the front, it looks good. From the back, it looks good. It looks decent, actually. From the back, even. From the sides, not so much, because you can see robot kibble in there. But, yeah, that's still all of the angles but one. And opening doors, I mean, how many others do that? I mean, as for sacrifices in the modes, that's the sacrifice, that opening doors, and the fact that sometimes the chest doesn't totally compact the way it's supposed to. And you can see a bit of head underneath the front of the car, but that's only if you jump it. There are a few tiny little sacrifices. Most are nothing, and this thing's a really fun toy. I'll get to this 2 videos from now. Next up, prom, because that's another very relevant topic, but I wanted to talk about this one first.